Hey everybody, it's Sneaky Narcotic, back at it again with another YouTube video, another Guilds of RAVNICA spoiler Guilds of RAVNICA, man, I keep doing this, RAVNICA Allegiance spoiler video today. Before I get any further, guys, please give us a like, comment, and subscribe down below. Every little bit you guys do helps me out a lot so that I can make more videos like this, or more videos like deck videos and everything like that. Everything I do now is just in my free time, in my spare time. I'd love to hopefully do this full time for you guys. And now let us get into some amazing spoilers today. I was looking at it on my break at my job, and it was just insane what they brought out today. Let's start with this first card, Fireblade Artist. It is a black and a red mana. It's a creature, human shaman, and it is an uncommon. It has haste. It comes down as a 2/2. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice a creature. If you do, it deals 2 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. So for sacrificing a creature, you get to shock. I'm not quite sure what the color combination is called, but I could imagine doing a white, black, and red Aristocrats deck with this card as one of the main deck staples, being able to use the Afterlife trigger, because it doesn't say non-token, so you can sacrifice those Afterlife tokens, sacrifice the card itself that gave it the Afterlife, and with there being check lands and shock lands in the same format now, you can do it relatively quickly and relatively consistently. Let's see. I think it's Mardu. I'm going to be wrong. I'm going to be so wrong. But yeah, I'm really, nope, I was right. Red, white, black, Mardu. So this is the Mardu color theme that I'm thinking of. And yeah, you know what? This card pairs really well with, I don't know why I opened up a new tab. I have one right here. Judith MTG. So this card right here pairs up really well with Judith. Other creatures you control get +1/+0, so that half anthem I always talk about. And then whenever a non-creature token you control dies, Judith the Scourge Diva deals 1 damage to any target. So that Judith actually makes it, on turn 3, Judith makes it a shock instead. And that's pretty good, you know, for you to be able to do this, and especially with the Aristocrats deck. Being able to sacrifice it. I like this. There's a card later that's all about sacrificing creatures too, that we're going to get into. The next card, oh my god, it is bonkers. In any format, if you can get this particular card down, it is bonkers. It's Mirror March. 5 generic, 1 red for an enchantment, a rare enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, flip a coin until you lose a flip. For each flip you won, create a token that's a copy of that creature. If those tokens gain haste, exile them at the beginning of the next end step. So, just to give you guys a crazy look on, just in standard alone, I have 2 cards that would really just do it for you. Burning Sun Avatar, yeah, it's hefty mana cost, just to deal 3 damage to target opponent or planeswalker and 3 damage to another to a target creature. Demanding Dragon is pretty crazy. Even a card like where is it? I guess I can exit out of this now. Vyoshino Pyromancer. Pyromancer, getting to enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Just getting a shock is pretty good, yet alone Demanding Dragon, forcing them to have to sacrifice their creatures, and if they don't want to or can't, It deals 5 damage to target opponent unless that player sacrifices a creature. So you would only need 4 to take their starting life total down to 0. That's why a lot of people do play a whole playset of Demanding Dragon. Let me show you what this would look like. So Demanding Dragon comes down the turn after you put out Mirror's March. And you say, instead of calling it every single time, you use an app kind of like this, and you say that you win if it's heads. Well, let's flip it. Let's flip it. Okay, so that's 1 good heads. Okay. Well, even then, that's 1 extra Demanding Dragon. I'm trying to see if it would do it consistently. Earlier, I got 4 flips of heads in a row. That's an instant win if they have no creatures. Even then, they don't want to sacrifice their creatures, you know? That was 2 right there. So that would be 3 instances of Demanding Dragon coming down, including the original instance. And so that would be 15 damage. That would be crazy. And that's in standard. There's a lot of cards that have really good into the battle. Imagine getting a multiple Goblin Chain Whirlers. Imagine getting... I know this would be weird, and it wouldn't actually work too well because of the legendary rule, so you wouldn't be able to use their... Oh yeah, that's the other thing. They get haste, so Demanding Dragon, especially with it being a big, hefty flyer, 5/5 at your face already, so that you have to answer. You basically win on turn 7 if you can get this card down and have Demanding Dragon, 1 copy of Demanding Dragon in hand. Nicol Bolas the Ravager, making them discard their hand. That would be pretty good. Regisaur Alpha, creating a token every single time that it comes out. Creating a token itself and then being a token as well. That's a pretty good card. So yeah, guys, there's multiple more I could go into. Multiple instances of Zakama stacking would be pretty cool. Just absolutely, like, what the hell, Wizards? They had to be smoking more crack than when they made Teferi, you know? So let's get past Mirror March and go to Sharktocrab. It is a 2 generic, 1 green, 1 blue creature, fish, octopus, crab. It has an adaptability of paying 2 generic, 1 green, 1 blue to adapt 1, so put a +1/+1 token on it if it doesn't already have 1 counter, not token, counter. It already comes out as a 4/4/4/4, so that's on par. It is an uncommon, so it will have this ability whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on Sharktocrab, tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. This card would have been more crazy and more out of control if it was a Merfolk, because there are cards that actually boost Merfolk and put +1/+1 counters on it, so I'm kind of disappointed it's not a Merfolk. But there's still cards out there that would do this and be pretty good still. So I'm not writing it off anytime soon. Sharktocrab looks pretty good. Love the art. A fish, octopus, crab. And as the fish part, they gave it a shark, so that's pretty good. Let's get to the next one. Here's an artifact. Haven't seen a lot of these for real, other than, the Locket series. But Scrabbling Claws. 1 generic for an artifact uncommon. Tap Scrabbling Claws. Target player exiles a card from their graveyard. That's pretty cool. Pay 1 and sacrifice Scrabbling Claws. Exile target card from a graveyard and draw a card. So, I've seen a lot of cards just shutting out Golgari, and I don't know why, because I wouldn't consider Golgari the most top tiered. It's up there, but not, nothing like back when red-black vehicles was a thing, or red splash-black vehicles, as I call it, and splash vehicles, as I also call it, from Hour of Devastation standard. So, I don't know why they're hating on Golgari so much, and it's interesting just to see that this is the first real artifact And I might put my foot in my mouth and say this might not be the first real artifact, but it's okay. I wish it was target card from a graveyard and maybe an extra 2 or 1 mana, and that would be kind of viable in Commander, because that's where more reoccurring creatures is a problem. There are already a lot of cards that are taking cards out of graveyards, so if graveyard hate is a thing, it sure is in this, okay? The flavor text says, food is steel, food is gold, food is bone. In the belly of the furnace, the flames know no difference. So, yeah, whatever. Font of Agonies. Pay 1 black. It's a enchantment, and it's a rare. Whenever you pay life, put that many blood counters on Font of Agonies. 1 generic, 1 black. Remove 4 blood counters from Font of Agonies. Destroy target creature. And the flavor text says, no worthwhile reward is easily gained. Nicol Bolas. Ooh, Nicol Bolas is actually being quoted here in RAVNICA. That's pretty cool. Off the top of my head, and I might have to come back to this card after I do a really quick look on my phone. Pay life. I'm not thinking of many cards off the top of my head, or if any, that are in standard that say really a pay life. So let's look real quick. Just hit the search button, so give me just a second. Argo's Bloodfast, Danto Vanguard, Oh, Doom Whisperer might be the most common. So let's look at this. Not that you would, I guess, be really doing this, except for maybe in Orzhov where you can gain some life back. Doom Whisperer paying 2 life to Surveil is pretty good, I guess. And then if you Surveil 4 times and then pay 1 generic, 1 black, you can destroy target creature. It doesn't even say legendary or non-legendary or below 3 mana, above 4 mana CMC. So I could see that being, viable. I'm trying to see if there's any other cards. Oh, well, I guess you pay life when you use a shock land, so that could be another thing. There's maybe Underrealm Lich. Underrealm Lich is another card that lets you pay life, and that's way too much life to pay for that. There's one last card that maybe, because I'm looking more into Orzhov where you can gain some life, but Vana, Butcher of Megan, could probably gain you, or probably be a card that you might use this with. It already destroys target online permanent for paying 7 life, and that's a lot of life to gain, or a lot of life to lose, but, at least in white and black you can gain life. In fact, it has lifelink itself, so I could see it. I just think that there needs to be, and maybe, I can't, I'm kind of fuzzy right now because I've only gone over these cards maybe once or 1 to 3 times, in the spoiler videos and studying up for the spoiler videos, but I'm not thinking there's a lot of cards that say pay life in this set either, so I don't know how well that's going to do. So maybe they should just release more cards that say pay life so this becomes viable, or at least pay 1 life to do something so it becomes viable. Anyways, Harmony Square, a land has come out that's not a shock land or a gate. Harmony Square, it is a colorless land, mind you, but it is a land, and it is a rare land. When Harmony Square enters the battlefield, if you control 2 or more gates, you gain 3 life. Add colorless, add 1 mana of any type of gate you control could produce. So this will end up being in the Guildgate tribal deck that they've been slowly releasing and making spoilers more geared to. There's some more spoilers today. Just keep this in mind when I talk about a Guildgate tribal deck, because there's some more spoilers today, including the next one. That I'm just saying that Guildgate tribal is going to be a thing. kind of is a thing now with Guildgate Mill that nobody ever plays, but it's there. So here's Gates Ablaze. 2 generic, 1 red, sorcery, uncommon. Gates Ablaze deals X damage to each creature where X is the number of gates you control. The flavor text says, when the Izzet's spirit of invention extends to the city's infrastructure, the results are sometimes explosive. So that's pretty cool. I like the little flavor text plus the art. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. There's some people in the fire. Anyways, this to me is like really good because for 3 mana on, let's say, turn 4, where you're hopefully got 4 Guildgates out, it deals 4 damage. And that's, first off, that's going to be the first time you can play this if you're just playing Guildgates. It's turn 4. That's the thing about Guildgate Tribal is, like, for instance, I mean, here you would have to wait till turn 4 because they come in as tapped lands. But, granted, it's still on turn 4 would deal 4 damage to each creature. And that's the other thing, too, you got to keep in mind, each creature. So, your own creatures, too. But a board wipe early in the game, because basically a lot of things die for 4 mana, okay? I'm not 4 mana, not 4 mana, but 4 toughness, for 4 damage, a lot of things die. Here's another Guildgate Tribal card. I love that most of these cards have been in Spanish, or a different, actually I think this might be Catalan, and this was in whatever type of calligraphy that is. But this is Pacto Entry Grimos. It's some type of Guildgate Pact. Artifact. It's a rare. It's a colorless. It is 2 generic mana. That's pretty good. Multicolored creatures you control get +1/+1. This is going to be a card to look at because it's an anthem in any color. The only thing is it has to have multicolored creatures. And it's not a legendary, and that's a good thing. I like this because of Guildgate Tribal. I'm just going to keep saying, guys, Guildgate Tribal. It's going to be a thing, and with this being multicolored creatures, you're going to be able to play it out, even if you're just playing a clan, one of these clans here. Even if you're playing a clan, it's going to be really good because there's multicolored cards, multicolored creatures. Gruul will be fascinating with this because Gruul has a lot of creatures that are just green and red, as far as I've seen from these spoilers. There's, what else am I thinking? 3 color decks, which are not going to be unheard of anymore after this set comes in, is going to get bonkers with these, because every creature in a 3 color deck is going to probably be multicolored. If we're going to talk about it like that, it's probably going to be multicolored. So I could just see this doing really good, going up in price, buy you 4 copies and see what happens, okay? I had the translation for this one earlier. Liana di Cinere. Let's just look it up. I thought the translation was really good. That's the only reason why I even want to bring it up. Liana di Cinere, search for English results only. I think it was Italian to English. Yeah. Cries of Ash, guys. Cries of Ash. Really? That sounds pretty cool. So let us look at Cries of Ash, yeah? It's multicolored, duh. 1 red, 1 green. It's an enchantment, and it's rare. Here's another crazy card, guys. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, deals 1 damage to that player. What decks do non-creature spells mainly get played in? What is that again? Oh yeah, control. Guys, this is some control hate out the but, okay, because control also uses a lot of enchantments. The second part says 1 generic, sacrifice this card, destroy target artifact or enchantment, and then it deals 2 damage to that permanent's controller. What? One of the number 1 enchantments you'll see in control is Eldest Reborn, I want to say. Eldest Reborn. Yeah. It's a saga, but sagas are considered enchantments, and this is a card that gives so much advantage for 5 mana over 3 turns that this being able just to let them get their sacrifice a creature or a planeswalker trigger, but not having to discard a card or letting them get a card back from your graveyard. I play that card in my Steal Your Stuff deck. You don't think that this card's going to shut me out? Yeah, it will. It will shut me out pretty good because I also play non-creature spells in my Steal Your Stuff deck. This for 2 mana, oh my god, this is awesome. This is really awesome. So, buy 4 copies. That's what I'm saying, yeah? Next card. Skewer of Critics. 2 generic, 1 red. Sorcery, uncommon. Spectacle, so you can pay 1 red if an opponent lost life this turn. Skewer the Critics deals 3 damage to any target. So paying 1 mana for Lightning Strike is pretty good. Flavor text, going to a Rakdos show is dangerous. Trying to leave early can be fatal. Yeah, I would say. So I like that it could potentially be a Lightning Strike for 1 red. But the thing is that you have to make sure that you're consistently being able to deal the damage that gets you your Spectacle, you know? So I'm a little iffy. It is uncommon, and I think it deserves uncommon. Sorry, it's a common, and it deserves its common rarity, but I always wish more out of these comments, and I guess that's why they're commons. Don't skewer me in the comments section because I'm complaining about a comment. I get it. I shouldn't complain about comments, okay? So let's move on to another good card in Gruul. Clan Guildmage. 1 red, 1 green. Love the artwork. Wearing that skeleton, having some magic in between their hands. Oh man, it looks pretty good. Creature, human, shaman. Uncommon. 1 generic, 1 red. Tap it. Target creature can't block this turn. Before I go any further, let's just go ahead and go to the next ability because I'm already headstrong about this one ability. 2 generic, 1 green, tap it. Target land you control becomes a 4/4 elemental creature with haste until end of turn. It's still a land. And the shaman, of course, as a 2/2 for 2. Target creature can't block this turn. There's a deck out there that I can think of where they literally will hold up their 1 big creature and it just be retarded. I can think of another deck off the top of my head too. Doom Whisperer being this big flyer for 6/6. There's a lot of decks that would just have this big flyer for 6/6 shutting out your flyers. Not that red green's about flyers, but maybe a red, green, blue. I used to know the name of that. Colored deck would have some flyers. That would shut it out for sure. But decks that use cards like Gigantosaurus, yes. Giganosaurus. Or they just have a 10/10 sitting there blocking. Well, your 10/10 now cannot, can't hurt me. Because why? Well, it's, can't block. So, yeah, I like the mess out of this card. That ability to basically trade your Guildmage for 3 mana for a 4/4 land, that's pretty good in my opinion for blocking, but not for attacking, so I don't really need that haste as much. Granted, I wish it would untap target land it becomes a 4/4 elemental creature, but you get what you get when it comes to uncommons as well as commons. Dovin Acuity. Here's a cool card. 1 generic, 1 white, 1 blue. Enchantment uncommon. When Dovin's Acuity enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life and draw a card. Okay, I like that. Gain some life, draw a card. Whenever you cast an instant spell during your main phase, you may return Dovin's Acuity to its owner's hand. Okay, I can do that. That's pretty simple in white and blue. There's sorceries. There's multiple things that you wouldn't mind playing during your main phase. The flavor text for Dovin, the flavor text for it is Dovin ticked the planeswalkers off on his fingers. Himself, Domri, Kaya, Ral, Vraska, and Bolas made an even 6. Okay. So I guess that's kind of giving us who is on against the Gatewatch here. Take the planeswalkers off. That's just interesting that they would put it like that. Counter the planeswalkers on his fingers. Here's the card that it kind of mirrors. Vicious Rumors. MTG. I don't think this. No. Vicious Rumors was a card I was looking for the other day. Man, I can't believe I can't. Disinformation Campaign. Information Campaign, MTG, is the mirror card to this, and I think they both do pretty good in Esper deck, per se. I think they'd be really cool together, because you could surveil and play a card. Okay, here let's talk about this. So, Disinformation Campaign comes out turn 3 to go ahead and try to get your opponent's cards out of their hand. Oh, shoot. Oh, hold on. There you go. And then turn 4 you play Dovin's Acuity. And then you play something like there was a card. Let's just go to the card database real quick and type in Surveil. There was a card for 1 blue mana, and I'll look at it right here, that I'm thinking about you can play on turn 4. So you drew a card from Disinformation Campaign. Did I mistype Surveil? Well, I guess it doesn't go. Yeah, no, it goes right there in the rule text. Surveil, maybe. Ugh, darn it! How do you spell surveil, guys? Surveil. Okay. Surveil in the rule text. There we go. Okay, there's Dazzling Lights. That's the one I'm thinking about. So let's get it on the big board for you guys to see. So your Dazzling Lights, as well as MTG. Dazzling Lights, yeah. Pay 1 mana, target creature gets -3, -0, and then you get that Surveil trigger. That's just because it's a 1 blue. It really doesn't matter what it does, but it gets you the mana that you need. It lets you spend all your mana. So you would get Dovan Security out the same turn as Dazzling Lights, but you would also Disinformation Campaign the turn before to discard a card, draw a card, discard a card from an opponent's hand, draw a card from your hand, and then that's sitting out there. Then you Dovan Security to draw another card, gain 2 life. Then you play Dazzling Lights, and now you have them both back in your hand. And you might get mana. You might have to start discarding after that because you've already drawn so much. But they work good together. Although if I had to choose one, I'd put Dovin's Acuity in there because after a while, you've discarded your opponent's hand, and so you're just getting that draw card. If you want to gain life, that's more viable. It'd be more viable to play 4 copies of Dovin's Acuity. In fact, no, okay, it casts instant spell during your main phase. Yeah, okay. Never mind. Moving along here, we have this card. I think it's Orzhov Imposter. It is a 1 generic, 1 black creature, human, Ladino in English. Sagittus. Cunning, crafty. Okay, whatever. Probably a spy. Human spy, I would imagine. Anyways, it has Death Touch and Afterlife 1. So I like this because it already is going to be a threat by itself, being a Death Touch creature. And normally Death Touch creatures are low power, low toughness, because they're going to basically trade with the creature that you're Death Touching. But on top of that, it gives you a 1/1 black and white flying spirit the turn after. So that's still pretty good. This will probably still go in that deck I've been talking about, the Esper Spirit deck. Just to be able to not have to spend a slots on like a kill spell or something like that, because then you'll just be blocking with it. So it'll still do the same thing, and then gain you some footage, giving you a 1/1 flyer. I like it. I like it a lot. Scorch Mark, 1 generic, 1 red. It is an instant. It is a common. Scorch Mark deals 2 damage to target creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. So here's what I don't like about this. You guys remember a card called Lava Coil? You should. It was released, before I put my foot in my mouth? I'm pretty sure, yeah. Guilds of RAVNICA. Same mana cost. It's an uncommon, so it moved up a rarity. But it does the same thing, except for it deals 4 damage to target creatures. So I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Paying 2 mana to deal 2 damage is just not my forte, and that's all I'll say on that card. Here's a fun, interesting card. Lumbering Battlement. 4 generic, 1 white. Creature, beast, rare, vigilance. 4/5, vigilant creature for 5. When Lumbering Battlement enters the battlefield, exile any number of other non-token creatures you control until it leaves the battlefield. Lumbering Battlement gets +2/+2 for each card exiled with it. So, you remember all those cards I was saying, like, enter the battlefield triggers? There's another card that's like, hey, you want to enter the battlefield a lot? In fact, Lumbering Battlement staying on the battlefield until after you get your Mirror March out is bonkers. Because then all those creatures that you exiled, let's assume you exiled a good many. In fact, let's imagine that maybe you exiled 2 Viashino Pyromancers. They stayed around till turn 5 and you exiled them. That makes this creature a 8/9, which is pretty good by itself. An 8/9 with vigilance. Meaning it can swing every single turn. Give it trample and it would have been a mythic rare, just saying. And then if it somehow died, because it doesn't have hexproof or anything, so if it somehow died, your creatures just came back. Mirror March just triggered for each one of those creatures, so you're doing a lot of damage to face with just some stupid Viashino Pyromancers. Yet alone, again, with the demanding dragons, I'm thinking of putting together a Boros deck like that. Boros enter the battlefield theme, that would be pretty good. Here's our last 3 cards, guys, and these cards are very interesting, very very weird, I would say. Here's the first one. Hero of Precinct One. 1 generic, 1 white, creature, human, warrior. It's a rare. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, create a 1/1 white human creature token. It comes down as a 2/2, and the flavor text says, when the established order falters, what remains are ordinary people and their struggles to survive. So, this would go in any white other colored deck just to make some tokens to block, possibly, or to go wide. I can see this in Selesnya, because Selesnya plays a lot of white and green, and then you can convoke with these white 1/1 human creature tokens. I could definitely see this in the Selesnya deck doing really well. Maybe being that missing piece Selesnya needs to come back. I more see this in Commander because, you know, sometimes in Commander you need these 2-drop cards that do some cool stuff. In Commander, you're always playing multicolored cards. You have definitely have the land base to back up multicolor, as well as in Standard right now. I'm giving it props. You have the land base to back up multicolored decks. So yeah, I could see this in almost any type of multicolored deck. It's a good 2/2 for 2 with a good ability to consistently. It doesn't do anything when it first comes out unless you have more mana to cast a multicolored spell, but it does do things, and I love it. I really do. It could go in human tribal, and then you could play cards like Radiant Destiny, which I feel like I just pulled up yesterday, to make your human tokens bigger and gain vigilance themselves, as well as make Hero of Precinct bigger and gain vigilant itself. So yeah, I can see this in I guess this would really go good in Abzan, the Abzan Soldier video I made. Go check that out. A lot of people haven't, and I think they will regret it when I start making an Abzan Soldier build after the rotation. Just saying. Here's the next card, Priest of Forgotten Gods. Love the name, love the art. The art looks really sick. It's a 1 generic, 1 black, creature, human, cleric. It's a rare. Tap it, sacrifice 2 other creatures. Any number of target players each lose 2 life and sacrifice a creature. You add 2 black and draw a card. The Orzhov are not the only religious tradition on RAVNICA, nor the oldest. 1 power, 2 toughness. So I see this doing really good with the aristocrat deck in the new standard, going Orzhov aristocrat. I mean, it even says it's going to be an Orzhov deck with the Orzhov part. Although no, Orzhov not the only religious tradition. Whatever, dude. Anyways, I see this really more geared to Commander, even with its rule text. Any number of target players makes me feel like they more geared it to Commander anytime you see that. And so I think this would go really good in a number of Commander decks that are just playing an aristocrat build of sacrificing maybe tokens to this card, or wanting to sacrifice tokens to this card. I could see it, and then you get mana out of it and draw a card. You get mana out of it and draw a card. Okay, I didn't see the draw a card part yet. Yeah, this card just made maybe my top 20 out of this set. Yeah. Incubation Druid. 1 generic, 1 green. Creature, elf, druid, and it's a rare. It deserves its rare. It says, tap, add 1 mana of any type that a land you control could produce. If Incubation Druid has a +1/+1 counter on it, add 3 mana of that type instead. It is a good old mana rockin' boy. It is a 0/2 for 2. Not that bad for a mana rock. It is 3 generic, 2 green to adapt 3 it. So then it would become... Oh, wow. It would become actually a 3/5 that taps for 3 mana. The total mana for that would end up being, what, 7? So I guess, whatever. But there are cards that allow that adaptability to go low. So you might end up paying a 4 for a 3/5 that taps for 3 mana itself. So I like the card. It is a pretty cool card, you know. Even if you don't want to do the adaptability, there's cards out there in probably, there are cards in Standard. I just don't want to look them up or feel like recalling them right now. That will give this card a +1/+1 counter. And then it'll become a 1/3 that taps for 3 mana for probably, if I had to guess, I think there's one that does it for 1 green. Again, I don't really want to pull it up because it's not worth it at the moment until I make this deck to really look this one up. But then it would be a 1/3 that taps for 3 on turn 3 probably. I can see it. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting card. I'd watch this. Hell, Land of War Elves was a very popular card. I can imagine Incubation Druid is going to be a very popular card. It reminds me, if I wanted to look at a standard card right now that it reminds me of Elfheim Druid. It's a 2 for 0/2, but it would add 2 generic. I'm looking at some random Elfheim Druid. Add 1 generic. Add 1 green. Tap it. Add 1 green. Tap it and add 2 green, but spend it only to kick spells. So that's what it reminds me of if I had to think of a card in standard. And except for way better. And let me see, did that card itself have an uncommon? Okay, so that card was an uncommon. But yeah, guys, so that's going to do it for the video. Please, guys, like, subscribe, do all the usual YouTube stuff. Tell your friends, man. I'd love to pick anybody's brain about these decks. Let me know what you guys think about this Mirror March and how freaking doped up somebody had to be to make this dang card. Before I go, let me just double check, refresh the page, because spoilers are all consistently coming out all the time, and I would love to get as many in the video as I can, just to make sure I didn't make sure I didn't stop ahead of my time. So it looks like no more spoilers have come out as of 4:22 p.m. But anyways, guys, please like, subscribe, do all the usual YouTube stuff. This is Sneaky Narcotic, signing off.